Welcome back, everyone. And if you saw my previous video talking about the Revanced app, we actually reached out to the dev team to see if any of them were open for an interview. One of them did get back to us. His name is Osumatrix. All of his info will be listed in the description. You go and check him out. He was open for an interview. We talked for about 35 minutes or so on Discord. Really cool dude. He explained kind of how the team came together and how Revanced works, how they're building it, and how they're continuing to develop it and make it better. And there's some really cool things about Revanced that I was not aware of until he told me. So without further ado, here we go.
So how did the whole team come together, and who brought the team together? Who started this project?
So, well, this isn't a question which can be answered easily because we found each other kinda. So how it was is basically when Vance shut down, the original team, which is different from what we currently are, basically created a Discord server, which, they planned to, I guess, discuss or continue the Vance project. So in the meantime, I also had plans for that because I've worked with previous projects which were similar to Revanced, and I knew like a bit about reverse engineering and how to how to work with this kind of situation. So when I was discussing what my plans were on the Revanced Discord server, someone mentioned that there was another team, or I guess group of people, who had similar plans. So they redirected me to them, and that's how we kind of got to know each other. They invited me to the server, which was 3 days old, I guess. Then plans began.
Cool. What drew you to, or how did you discover the original YouTube Vanced app?
Oh, that's a difficult question because it's like many years behind. I guess I saw a YouTube video, or I don't know exactly, but maybe someone mentioned it to me, or I saw it online. Something like that.
Okay. I mean, honestly, I don't remember how I originally discovered it. I think I stumbled across it somehow, and I was like, wait a minute, what is this? And then I started digging and doing kind of my own research and everything, and I found out that it was like it blocks ads and all this other stuff. I'm like, oh, that is so cool.
Awesome.
And because I mean, me personally, and I'm sure you guys on the team and everything feel the same way, but like, I liked how YouTube used to be, like when it first started in the early 2000s. There were no ads. Yeah, there were kind of ads on like the page and stuff, but there were no ads in videos and stuff like that. And
they weren't intrusive, yeah.
Exactly. So with now, it's like, oh, I just want to watch this like 4-minute video on, this random topic and everything. It's like, oh, you got 2 ads in the front, and then you got mid-roll ads, and then ads on the end. I'm like, this is so annoying and frustrating. Yeah. It's like, enough. Like, I just want to watch what I came to watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like YouTube pushed too much, and then initiatives like Vanced started because, if YouTube wouldn't push so many ads, Vanced wouldn't exist to begin with because it wouldn't be a problem, which Vanced solved. So that's kind of related, yeah.
Yeah. So do you know, I think I had asked this during through the whole text section as well. It's like, so how you guys started just after kind of Vanced got the DMCA, correct? Saying that they were no longer to
basically working, right? When I heard that Vanced was shutting down, that was kind of sad because everyone likes Vanced. They were doing a good thing, so for that reason I also wanted to continue it. And yeah, it was right after Vance shut down.
Okay. So how many are on the team? Is it like 5 or 6 or up to 10, or is there more of you that just aren't on the Discord server?
So we are open source, so I wouldn't say we're just a certain amount of people who work on Revanced. It's more of a collaborative project, so there's like a lot of people who contribute to it, even if it's not much, because that's how projects begin.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess what is considered as team members are 11 people currently. These
Okay.
are currently on the organization on GitHub, which, represent Revanced.
Okay.
Maybe like what Revanced exactly is, because, it's not particularly a YouTube mod. So that might be interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, it's I'd asked this and someone had correct me. I forget exactly who it was in the chat. They said that it's not like a downloadable app. It's a like a mod basically, and you can use it on different apps. Correct?
Yeah, so Vanced was originally just for YouTube, so they were distributing a modified application of YouTube, which is already a gray area in terms of legal stuff, legal matter. So what Revanced decided to do is they were distributing the patcher, so our work, including the patches, which are also our work. So we are not distributing any proprietary code from whatever app like Vance did, meaning that we only have to provide the patcher, the patches, and the tool to work with that, and you can patch any application on your device instead of having to download a pre-patched application by us, which is also a questionable thing because we could put any malware in it and you wouldn't know. So that's already a plus.
Yeah, I like the ability when you download the Revanced Manager, and you can pick which patches that you want to apply.
Yeah, because it's modular, so each patch is it's a separate set of modifications which are applied to the app.
Yeah, I love the kind of the modularity that you guys have implemented into the patches. It's brilliant. Instead of having just kind of like a complete package, it's like, all right, take it all. It's take it or leave it. Here's what we've presented.
Right.
It's like here's a list of stuff you can choose from. Pick and choose what you want, and that way it's tailored to fit that specific person. I love the concept.
Yeah. This is also beneficial in the case if the application updates and some patches break because, we are doing a lot of modifications with all the patches we have. So if something breaks out of the multiple modifications, you can just, exclude that from patching and the other patches will work except for that one. And in the case it's not important for you, you can just exclude it until it's fixed. So that works.
Love it. So what language of code are the patches written in?
So the Revanced patcher is written in Kotlin, which compiles down to JVM bytecode, which is the same as what Java compiles to.
Mm-hmm.
The Android ecosystem works around Dalvik, which is compiled or actually which is like a virtual machine, the Android runtime, and Java code JVM bytecode is compiled to Dalvik. And yeah, that's why we're using Java or Kotlin in this case.
Okay. Yeah, I know a little bit about code. Not a whole lot, obviously, but so does everyone in the team kind of run off of Linux, basically, their operating systems on their home computers?
I don't, and I believe not everyone does, but I guess the motivation for that is a different and unrelated to Revanced. Yeah.
Okay. I was curious because I think a lot of software developers and stuff and web developers and stuff use Linux, but
of course, yeah.
Just a curious question on my part.
Yeah.
So what was, I guess, the main driving force behind people kind of continuing the legacy of Revanced, or excuse me, of Vanced and everything, and making Revanced? Yeah. Was it just the group?
The name Revanced is specifically chosen this way, and the headline, I guess, continuing the legacy of Vanced is also chosen specifically like that because people knew what Vanced is. So if we kind of provide a bridge for the people to switch from Vanced to Revanced by recognizing that it's kind of related to Vanced, because it's called Revanced. So that was like intentional.
Was it like so how did the whole team kind of come together? Was it like a collaborative effort of just everyone hating sponsor ads and ad block and everything? There's like, you know what, we're sick and tired of this. We want to provide everyone else, again,
we
continuing
were
the
driven
legacy.
by the same motivation. Yeah.
Okay.
So Vanced, solved the problem which YouTube created. Of course, the problem didn't exist back then because ads weren't intrusive as they are today. So because we didn't want those intrusive ads, for example, to see, and we saw that Vanced shut down, we decided to continue Revanced, or continue Vanced with Revanced to avoid this issue.
Yeah, I could speak for everyone, I think, that knows of the APK or the mirror, however it's described, that we can't thank you guys enough for all the continuous work you guys do to make this to make Revanced what it is.
It's a collaborative project. Many people contribute to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I was super thrilled when I discovered Vanced. And then I'd only had it for, I think, 6 months before all of a sudden I got something on my Reddit feed saying something about Vanced being shut down by YouTube and Google and everything. I was like, oh, are you kidding me? And then I started seeing like ads popping up, not like in videos, but like on the feed and stuff like that. I'm like, oh man, this sucks. And then I stumbled across like someone in the comments said something about, oh, don't worry, they're making another one. And then I started following you guys, and I was like, and then I learned how it was different and everything, and I was like, this is amazing. I love this group. I love the open source community and the people that are of the same mind. It's like, look, we're sick and tired of all these ads being shoved in our faces. We just want to watch and enjoy the content we came here for. So let's do what we can to get rid of it.
Revanced is distinctively different from Vanced by being open source. So that's a plus because everyone can, fix bugs if they want to, if they have the knowledge how to. Everything is open source, so that means you can implement or change whatever you like, however you want. So that's a plus.
And what's great about open source is, you guys can show the source code and have other people contribute code and ideas and stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. That's how it's being done currently. There's people who create pull requests and submit their code and fixes to issues Revanced currently has.
So with the head team members, with it being open source and everything, so with the head team members, if someone from the outside, like if I, for example, came with like a script of code and said, hey guys, I noticed an issue and I submitted that code, is the team members kind of like the board saying like, okay, we'll look at this and see how it works, and then we'll give it the okay if it's actually implemented into the source code, correct?
So there are multiple things we have to consider when something like this happens. Usually people open issues, which means that there is something wrong or they want a new feature or something has to change. And based on those, people can then create pull requests, which is basically code which they created in order to fix this issue. And we review that, we look into it, we check if it meets the code quality. And if everything looks good, we merge it and fix this issue it tries to solve.
Okay. How long was it? Sorry, go ahead.
So that's the one thing. And the second thing is, you don't need our approval, because you can just look at the code, you can even fork it and implement it yourself and use that fork of code. So if, for example, let's say we deny your pull request, so it's not merged into the code, you can just fork the code and use it that way. So you don't depend on us, which is also important in the case of when the team can't continue Revanced, you can. And this was not possible with Vanced, because when Vanced shut down, the code is not accessible, nobody can continue it. With Revanced, if the team somehow, can't continue working on it, you still can, and someone else can pick it up and continue it.
And the full source code and everything for Revanced is
full source code is open. Yeah.
Okay, and that's sitting at, or that's all on GitHub, correct?
Yeah, we are using GitHub currently as our main platform to host our source code.
Okay. How long was it when you guys first started working on Revanced before you rolled out the first patch?
Right. So, in order to roll out the first patch, it was required to first create a patcher and all the surrounding tools around that. And I believe it was, I don't know, maybe 1 week or 2 until the prototypes existed, which allowed us to create a proof of concept patch. And one of the first ones were, blocking ads or background playback on YouTube. So, yeah.
Well, that's another great thing, along with all the sponsor blocks and all that stuff is definitely you can basically close the app or even turn off your phone, and you can still have stuff playing in the background.
I feel like this is an essential thing, which YouTube restricts you if you don't have premium. So that's
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's like people have been clamoring for that. It's like, just let me close. Like if I'm listening to a song or whatever through YouTube on my phone, and I want to shut it down or just turn the screen off. It's like, just let the music continue playing. People have been clamoring for that for years.
Wow.
And YouTube's just like, no, we're not going to do it. That's stupid. And then you guys are like, why not? So.
Yeah, it's obviously a marketing strategy from YouTube to get you to buy YouTube Premium. Along with, showing ads and intrusive ads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, how are you guys wanting to? I mean, have you guys done any? I wouldn't say marketing or anything, but have you guys tried to advertise or try to spread the word of Revanced at all, or are you just kind of letting it kind of trickle out throughout the community and let it kind of spread that way?
That's how it is. So we don't do any active advertising. If the product is good, people will know about it. That's what I think is happening with Revanced. Yeah.
So just letting it spread through word of mouth, basically.
Mm-hmm. Of course, more people means more contributors, and more contributors mean a better product. So it's, kind of self-driven.
Right. So with Revanced being kind of open source, is there any danger from YouTube or Google coming after you guys and saying, hey, this isn't allowed, you're infringing upon our copyrights and all that stuff?
Yeah, so about that, I don't know if this is a good thing to mention on the YouTube video, but I'm gonna say it anyways. So, Revanced is violating DMCA 1201. What this means is this DMCA law prevents us from circumventing applications, meaning if we have an application or an open source patch, which is, for example, unblocking premium on some kind of copyrighted app, we are violating the DMCA law. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's something which you have to consider, because when we get a request to remove this patch, we have to follow that, because GitHub as a platform is what receives this DMCA takedown request, and they forward it to us, give us some time to remove it. If we don't, they are forced to remove our code. And we got this DMCA a couple weeks ago. I think you noticed. Did you see that?
For Revanced got a DMCA is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, we got a DMCA, and our repository was temporarily taken down. So we had to remove the infringing code, which was the infringing DMCA 1201. And yeah, that's how we got back online again. But this shows that we are not completely safe, meaning that if YouTube decides to target some kind of patch which violates against rules like that, we have to take them down. But since the code is open source, you can, take backups or whatever you do to prevent from the code being lost. So we are trying to be, we try to be as legal as possible.
Sure.
Our initial goal was to be legal, but since we figured out that we are likely not 100% legal for the reason of the MCA, we're trying to be as legal as possible in order to avoid issues like that. So we're not trying to hide something. If people see that there's an issue, like GitHub noticing that we're that GitHub is hosting infringing code due to us, we are gonna remove it. Simple as that.
Okay. And if you can't answer this question, that's fine. But what was the code that was infringing on that? What specific patch was that infringing on?
So this is public information. So you can, if you follow the announcements we post, GitHub, if GitHub forces us to remove code, or if they receive a DMCA takedown notice, actually we receive one from GitHub, they track that in their own DMCA repository. So I can send a link which you can read. Give me a second.
Okay.
This is everything we received from GitHub, which led to us taking down the infringing code. You can see 1 any tracker and 2 Flotch ECM WF.
Okay.
So those were the 2 DMCA requests we received.
And each hyperlink will take you to each specific thing that they were talking. Okay.
It's public information.
Okay. So I know with kind of like open source software and stuff like that, there's not a whole lot of, as far as I know, I'm sure you obviously know a lot more about it than me, but with open source software, there's not a whole lot of kind of money to be made. So how do you guys make any money off of Revanced, or is it just kind of like a passion project?
It's more like of a passion project. We have donations. We don't promote them actively right now. This could change because of the manager relies on services such as the website or the API, which needs somewhere to be hosted. It's not much, but I guess with the donations, we would be able to finance those server costs. Apart from that, we don't get any money.
So I guess everyone has normal day jobs and stuff apart from doing Revanced?
Right.
Okay. Well, for those people that are, I guess, listening / watching this, how would they go about finding a proper patch? Because I know I had an old patch just recently. I had like 17.41 dot whatever, and then I think 17.49 something came out recently. And I just I just updated, but I was looking for the new patch, and the ones that I was finding weren't working for some reason. So how do people go about finding the proper link or the proper patch to download?
The Revanced Manager is what we effectively want the end user to use and rely on. Obviously, it's not ready to use, it's not ready fully yet because it contains bugs and such. So it's kind of alpha or beta. But what you as an end user would do is you would be able to see which version of the apps or which version of the patches you have. So depending on if we publish a new version of the patches, you would also be able to see that in the Revanced Manager, and according to that, be able to update your apps to apply the patch on.
Okay. And I think we had said this before, but just to kind of reiterate it for everyone, is that Revanced is not just for YouTube. So what other apps can you use Revanced for?
Yeah, with Revanced, we try to avoid the issue with what Vanced had is, well, Vanced was only a YouTube modification, YouTube mod, and what Revanced is a patcher. So the difference is that we can basically patch any Dalvik application, which means we can patch almost any Android application. So there's no constraint on, you can patch this and this app. It's more of a constraint on which patches you have. You can any day create a patch for your own Android application, for example, or any other app.
Really?
Yes, you can create a patch for nearly any application. Nearly because not every application uses Dalvik.
Okay. Because I was looking, I think it was on the Revanced Reddit page, and there was like, some people had posted like, lists, hey guys, you can use Revanced for more than just YouTube, and they had like a list, like they were saying you can use it for Twitter, Reddit,
right.
The
Twitch, list is just a list of our patches currently. So we have a certain set of patches which support a certain set of apps. But that doesn't mean that Revanced only supports those set of apps. Today you can even create a patch which works with any other app.
That is so cool.
Yeah. So, for example, I don't know, name me an app. I don't know. I don't want to name any app. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Let's say like
I'll pull up my phone. Let's see what we got here. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of like social media apps. Do you have one? I know this is kind of a big one in the news nowadays, at least here in the States. I don't know how it is where you're at, but Facebook. Do you guys have a patch for that at all?
We don't have a patch for Facebook, and I don't think Facebook is using Dalvik. Facebook is probably using something else, but I'm not sure. I would have to look into it. But in the instance they use Dalvik, it would mean that Revanced patches are possible on it.
Because that would be cool. Because I know Facebook has a lot of ads floating around their app, and especially just their web page itself.
Yeah.
What about Instagram? Do you guys have a patch for that?
From what I've seen, Instagram is Dalvik, which means patches can be created, such as ad blocking, removing patches. Ad removing patches, yeah.
That would be good, because there are lots of ads on Instagram as well.
Yep. So that's possible, right?
All right. Well, I guess that's kind of all I got off the top of my head at the moment. What do you want people to know about Revanced for the folks that are unfamiliar with it?
Well, Revanced is not as easy to use currently. Reason being that we intend the manager to be what the user should use, or to use Revanced, and the manager isn't like ready yet. So if you encounter any bugs, which aren't already like known, you can make issues on the respective repository of us. Other than that, contributions are welcome every time, so we look forward into that.
And just so everyone knows, this is only available on Android devices, correct?
Yes, we are patching Dalvik applications, which is exclusively for Android.
Get wrecked, Apple.
Apple's side on modding is quite different.
Yeah, because they're what language are they using over there on Apple?
They're using Objective-C, so apps are compiled natively, and they have their own sets of tools. Jailbreaking is a term in the iOS space, and they use their own set of tools to modify applications.
So it's about as closed source as you can get, right?
Actually, it's not too closed source. Modifications are often open source, so you can look into it and research.
Interesting. So I always thought Apple was pretty closed.
Apple in itself is closed, that's correct, but not the modifications.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I think it's about as about as much as I got off the top of my head. So thank you,
Sounds good,
Osumatrix,
yeah.
for taking the time to chat with me about this.
No problem.
Like I said,
Anytime.
for all the
Yeah.
folks that are for listening and everything, I want to thank you and your team for making Revanced to help kind of, especially for YouTube and everything, because that's one of the main ones I use to get rid of all the ads and all that stuff. So we do really appreciate it, and don't listen to all the haters that are, because I've been scrolling through Revanced's Reddit page, and there's a lot of people being like, this patcher sucks, it doesn't do this, and I'm getting this and that, and what the
Yeah.
heck is all this
Yeah.
crap? Like, don't listen to them. They're just
People are often mad if something doesn't work, but that's fine. That's expected. We're improving.
exactly. It's like it's a continuous effort. Yes, things will break
Exactly.
it from time to time. You have to be a little tech savvy to be able to use the patcher and everything.
We are not even that old. Vans shut down, I don't know, maybe in March. So that's kind of a couple months. Revans exists. So from time to time we will get more stable and accessible for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had any major issues.
Yeah.
Like, I think, because on my phone at least, Revanced works perfectly. But on my tablet, I have the Samsung Galaxy whatever tablet. Revanced continues to crash. Like, I try to pull it up and tap on a video or whatever, and it just immediately crashes. So I'll probably have to go back in there and repatch it or something like that. But
Right. You could have maybe you maybe used a broken set of patches which are updated already. So looking into that is probably something you could do. Yeah.
yeah. So all you haters out there saying, you know, oh, these patches are broken, blah blah blah. It's like, believe me, they are constantly working on it. It's a lot of effort, I would imagine. I'm not a coder or anything like that, so these folks know what they're doing. Just give them some time.
Reason being why we would appreciate as much as contributions as possible. So if you are out there and confident in your skills, we appreciate any effort.
There you go. They're not closed off. They're any constructive criticism, folks, is greatly welcomed. So
Exactly.
so
All right.
thank you, man. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
So there you guys have it. Huge shout out to the entire Revanced dev team, and especially Osumatrix for taking the time to sit down and talk with me. I do really appreciate it. Their Discord server and all their information and stuff will be down in the description below if you guys want to check it out, as well as all the information that you guys need to be able to get the Revanced Manager, as well as the proper APK download so that you guys can start blocking ads and sponsored segments of videos. Now, if you guys do like this type of video, I do have some plans for some future development team interviews. So make sure you go over and follow me on Instagram as well as Patreon so you can see what I'm working on next. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.